Hey, it's Rick. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to make a fun little winter holiday card that you could send out if maybe you didn't send out your Christmas card. So we're going to send out some warm winter wishes cards instead. So we're going to use the warm winter wishes stamp set from Missing Stamps, the Woodgrain dies from Missing Stamps, and the Slimline Treeline stencil to create our scene. We're going to create a super easy little scene, and we're going to start off with our scene first. I'm going to take my cardstock. This is Bristol Smooth cardstock. We're going to do that first, and we're going to take our Treeline stencil, and I'm going to take a piece of Post-it tape, and I'm going to lay that down just like that. And then I'm going to take my tree lines and I'm going to line this up. I'm going to put it in right there. That's the great thing about having the stencil where it's slimline. You can go all the way across. We'll go ahead and line that up, and then I'll stick it down. I'm going to come in with some Rustic Wilderness first. My base layer. And I'll pick this up. I can flip that. Change it around. I'm going to shift it over some. Come back in that next layer, and what's going to happen is where we have those openings where I flipped it around, that's going to end up being a little bit darker, so it's going to help add a little bit more texture to our background. And pull that up. I'm going to take and pick that one up and shift it over one more time with this one, this color. I'm going to come in with just the ink that's left on the brush. And what's on our stencil. Just come right across there. And I'm going to come in this time. I'm going to shift it up one more time. Let me go ahead. I'm going to come in and shift that over. I'm going to come in with the purple, which I'm going to be using shaded lilac. I'm going to use the ink that's still left on the brush for this part. I'm going to move that over and shift it. Do that again. We'll move it one more time. So I want these trees back in the back to be very soft and subtle. With some salvage patina. I'm going to come in from the top. Just add a little bit of sky up there. I'm going to make it look like those trees are more in the distance by coming over them just a little bit. Now we're going to pick up our Post-it tape and peel that back. And I'm going to take and flip that around and line that up. I'm going to add a little bit of snow back here. Just using that salvage patina. And I'm also going to mix in a little shaded lilac as well. Helps make it nice and cool. My little horizon line. All right, I'm going to fill this up. And I'm going to set that to the side and let that dry for a little bit. All right, I'm going to come in now and I'm going to stamp my image so that I can color it. So I've got my cardstock in there. We're going to take our Warm Wishes stamp set. We're going to take our little stamp. I'm going to pop him down here and close that. And we're going to make sure that was in the corner, so we'll go ahead and put that back in place. We are going to do some alcohol marker coloring. So I'm going to stamp him down using Tuxedo Black ink. Move that out of the way. Then I have a little strip of white cardstock. I'm going to put that down there. I'm going to stamp my sentiment on that. That way I'll have that ready to go as well. So we'll go ahead and line this up. Make sure we're straight and even. And put that back in a corner. And I'm going to stamp this with the shaded lilac. My sentiment, so I'll let that dry. I'm going to pull in a scrap piece of paper where I can color. And I just picked out some colors with my Spectrum Noir markers and just similar colors that I'm going to use to our inks. And we're going to do just simple coloring. The first thing we're going to do is add our shadow on our snowmen and women. And just add just a little bit of that darkest blue. I did forget to grab a brown, so we'll grab that in a second. When you're coloring snow or ink blending snow with a stencil, all you're really doing is adding in the shadows. So it's something always to remember. These are your shadow colors. All snow has color in it. The only snow you want to avoid maybe is the yellow, coloring it yellow, even though there would be, I mean, if the sun was reflecting on it, it could be yellow. I guess. Go ahead and add that down here. Underneath our little snowman, we would have a little bit of shadow. Come in with a little blender. I'm going to blend that out. All right, we're going to color up the back one first. I come in with just the ice gray. I'm going to add in our black on our little snowman. Do his eyes. For his hat. It's a fairly easy image to color. I will show you a trick on the little berries right there as well. All right, we're going to color up the little band of his hat and his little scarf as well. Add one of those there, those there. Just going to flick in the darkest color where our shadows would be. For the little ornaments, I'm just picking a side and going with it. All right, my little trick for the berries, pick a couple, just add in, fill them in. They're tiny. You don't have to have blends in there. You could just pop in a little bit of color. The eye will naturally blend them together and make your eye think that there is more color there than what is. We're going to go ahead and do one of our little birds as well. I'm also going to use blue on one of our little birds. We'll have a little blue bird, a little red bird, and we'll do a little gray bird as well. All right, let's do her little hat and her scarf. I'm just using a pale pink blend for this. I'm also going to use that same color in the flower. Add a little pink ornament down here. And let's do a couple blue. So that all our colors are represented. And we need to do his little nose. We're just going to use the medium shade and color both their little carrot noses with that, since it's a coral. And finish out our little flower. And then for our leaves, I'm going to use my light alpine green. And I'm just going to do that same thing. I'm just going to take and add a little color in there. All right, let's color up our little tree. I start where things are the darkest. So anywhere those The branches are laid on top of the other. They were going to be darker. We'll add in our medium tone. Those little petals on this holly branch over there. A branch on our hat, our leaves on our hat. Let's do our tree trunk and our arms. And just a little bit dark, and then the mid-tone. Again, tiny area, so I don't want to do too much. All right, there is my coloring. I will cut this out. All right, we're going to go ahead and cut out our frame. I've got a piece of craft cardstock. So we are going to take our wood grain frame. I'm just going to pop that on there. All right, I'm going to pop that in, and then I will run that through my die cutting machine. And then we will put our card together. Our card base and our card front. So we're going to add this to our card front in just a second. Before we do that, we're going to add just a little bit of extra to it. Because this is super simple. We're going to take some gold metallic ink, and we're just going to lightly brush along our frame, a little bit over our the embossed parts of what the die did. This is an easy way to step up any project and add that little bit of extra touch. Just going right along with the grain of the die cut. All right, so here's all our parts and pieces. So we're going to assemble our card. I am going to get my foam tape because I do want to pop up my frame. And that's going to be what I do first. So I'll go ahead and flip that over. I may have to switch foam tape. We can trim off any excess. Now you could easily make this into a shaker if you wanted to do a shaker card at this point. All right, let's peel these backings off. We're going to add some liquid glue so that we have a little wiggle room. Now onto our card front. Right, now I'm going to trim that down. Just taking my long handle scissors, coming right along the edge of my frame. We'll add that onto our card base. Sometimes you got to look over it. I'm going to look at that gold in the light. See that subtle shimmer on the frame. We're going to add our little snow people into our scene. And I'm going to add them with a little bit of foam adhesive. Peel those backings off. Them over to the left-hand side. And we're going to take our banner, our sentiment strip. Then we'll cut that kind of at a little angle. I'm going to add a little bit of foam behind it as well. And we'll add that, right, tuck it right behind our little snow people and right off to the side there. Then we're going to finish this off by adding some pearls, little baubles. And I chose 2 different colors. I'm using the cherry red baubles from Trinity Stamps and the sage green baubles. I can get them open. We're going to add 3. Add 2 of the red and I'll add 3 of the green. All right, we're going to add our finishing touches. So we're going to add our little white gel pen highlights. Our little birds and our snow people. Put it on our tree. Then I will finish it off by adding just a little bit of Stardust Stickles for a little bit of glitter to our snow people. Just a little bit on ground as well. All right, here is a look at my project. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you like this video, you're probably going to like the one coming up right there.